Texas Podcast Massacre contains spoilers and adult language. For more horror, visit us at our website at texaspodcastmassacre.com. This is Texas Podcast Massacre. With your hosts, Mitch, Nate, and Lisa.
Welcome to another episode of Texas Podcast Massacre, coming to you from Houston, Texas. I'm your host, Mitch, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Nate.
I said I like your dolls.
Thank you. Oh, well, they're more like they're my Funkos, but that works. And our queen of the unsuspecting victims herself, Lisa.
Okay, look, as much as I appreciate 5-star reviews, maybe offer rescinded.
Okay. You want to rethink the whole deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Wow. Well,
Okay.
that's a hot take. Because this week's episode is a 5-star review, not customer review, Jesus, but a listener review episode.
Wait, hold on. Are you getting paid? Wait, hold on. If you're getting paid, I want to cut that money. Hold on a second.
Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that, Nate.
Wow.
Look.
Okay.
I handle all the business facing stuff. You're the people person. You're the face. We just slap you up on that stage and just say, just smile for the cameras, okay?
Smile for the camera and mention Leprechaun.
That's
it. Just point me. Where am I going?
We've got a per so many words you have to mention Leprechaun clause in our contracts. No, this was a listener review. So welcome to another episode of Texas Podcast Massacre, where each week we take a look at a different horror movie and debate horror-related topics with our unsuspecting victims. Usually it's our Her Majesty herself, Lisa, with us. Nate is our, what would you say, Nate? I mean, you kind of represent we all kind of represent different parts of the horror genre. Lisa's our, obviously the people who begrudgingly watch them. Nate, you're kind of like the art house horror snob fan.
I'm not quite a snob, but I'm snobbier than you.
Yeah. No, admittedly,
Sure.
I'm just saying you're more that. I mean, yeah, I'm definitely the just blood and gore and guts, and
like
grindhouse.
Like this. I'm assuming. I mean, we've had so many conversations in the past, but I'm assuming at some point I said, "Oh, I saw this horror movie," and you were probably like, "Oh, did they cut someone's skull off?" Like that. That's your specific niche.
Yeah, the more over the top, the better. I prefer absurd horror film. I want to be entertained. That's how I want my horror films to be.
Well, I don't know if this is entertaining, but this is over the top.
Yeah. You like the thinkers. You like the ones that really get in there. Make you question things.
This one was not that. This
was a 5-star review request for Poughkeepsie Tapes.
Poughkeepsie.
Oh
God.
Poughkeepsie. I don't know. Who. This is not a real place.
It's a real place.
You say Poughkeepsie and I say Poughkeepsie.
That was the first version of the tomato song, and they were like, "This we can't use this. This is doesn't come off the tongue quite as well as tomato."
I want Christopher Walken just saying Poughkeepsie. This episode will be who says it the wrong way the most, and I'm going for the gold. Let me tell you. So this review came from Benji, who he said he's found us through DT and KC show. So our friends over there, they say our repartee reminds him of growing up watching horror movies with my friends when he was in his teens and early 20s. Just a couple of guys being goofballs. He does question whether Lisa is a non-horror fan anymore. You're still a non-horror fan. Oh no, now you are a non-horror fan, but you're not really an unsuspecting victim. You're very much a suspecting victim at this point.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, so
I completely agree.
Are you like the one lady who gets kidnapped in this movie? Well, maybe we'll get into that. Are you the Cheryl?
I don't know.
I hope not, because that would
No.
be bad.
Well, I have been married to Mitch for a long time now, though.
You can
Dang
get
it,
out whatever
Nate.
you want. You can get out whatever you want.
Can I?
Oh God, we are in.
This is taking a weird turn, an unfavorable turn.
I was saying, what's the Poughkeepsie Tapes?
But
here?
Benji has asked in his review. He really wants us to start showing Lisa some more extreme horror movies. Apparently, we've been pulling punches. I guess, Nate, with Lisa and our other unsuspecting victim friend,
because we want her on the show. That's one factor.
Mitch has to live with me, okay? Mitch has to get up at 3 a.m. when I hear a noise downstairs, okay?
You hear a lot more noises.
That's why he pulls his punches.
A lot more noises if you're watching Poughkeepsie Tapes.
He doesn't need me shoving him every hour. I heard something. Go.
Yes, that is. I need to just get some sort of sleep when little I do. Now, Nate, you'll be happy to know Benji wants us to do more Old Granddad and Crown Royal Apple.
Okay. I can actually.
Anything but maple. Long. Anything but maple. Yeah, I don't know that this. I don't know that it would have helped this movie, but we definitely. We need to. Yeah, normally I think it's worked out so well because before, obviously, poor pandemic, we had it all kind of here in the studio. Now since we've been separated. I don't know. You just seem to have a never-ending supply of Old Granddads. I've never actually had to go buy my own Old Granddad. You have always supplied it, and so I really. Is it something you just go to a store and ask for? I feel like it can't be that easy. I feel like you have to know someone who
have a direct there's those websites. You're like buy directly from the factory,
right?
Don't cut out the middleman. I'd have like a bat line directly into Old Granddad distillery, and they're just like, oh yeah, just we'll send the shipment. I actually dropped off a mason jar of Old Granddad to you not that long ago.
Yeah, for the election, I went through it. So yes, need more.
Wait, what? You've already went through it?
What do you mean already went through it? That was a hard week of figuring out what the hell was going on.
Okay, shit. Okay, well, you gotta restock then. Before we do this,
the election didn't last just a single day. It went on, man.
I know, but okay, all right. Well, you're gonna have to get more. The
party raged until we had an answer. Yes.
Wow. Okay. Well, so in that case, you need to get more. And Benji, yes, we will do that very soon.
But I want the premium stuff, not top shelf. Granddad.
Old Granddad 114 is the
there you
top
go.
Shelf.
Now Benji
still has a plastic cap for some reason, but it has a wood inside. It's so bad. It's so great. I love Old Granddad way too much.
Now Benji also mentioned he wants to see us do some maybe commentary tracks. So more to come on that. I don't want to say too much just now, but we'll just stay tuned.
Well, hold on. I mean, if you want to expedite the process, I mean, just send a whole case of Crown Apple to Mitch at 123 Fake Street, and we will get that'll help things out.
Oh, yeah.
Can you send like a digital? You can send hey, here's a PlayStation Network.
A case of Crown
like $25.
Apple.
Can you send like a digital Crown gift card or something? Is that a thing that's possible? Because that would be amazing if it was.
I don't know. That's
I might be set.
A case of Crown Apple seems like too much Crown Apple. Objectively,
we haven't tried it yet. It could be very delicious.
Only the maple was so good. I have great opinions.
Who just did? Was it Crown that came out with the cans? Now they have Crown and Coke and
I think so.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Well, I gotta go to the liquor store here.
All right. Well, we're gonna do a drinking episode here soon. I think time has come for that. However, this is not that one. This is sadly sober.
I wish.
Yeah.
We really should have read this earlier. Jesus.
Yeah. So look, we got to get into this movie, but of course we're going to start the way we always do with a little debate question.
Bid our father, the Sea King, rise from the depths full, foul in his fury, black waves teeming with salt foam, to smother this young mouth with pungent slime.
Got to get the pungent slime. slime can't just be like regular. Like, I don't know how many other kinds of slime are there, Nate. Over or under?
Nickelodeon slime.
Okay. Is Nickelodeon slime pungent?
No, it probably smells like. Remember Gak?
Oh, I do remember Gak.
It probably smells like Gak. It smells like Play-Doh, probably like liquid Play-Doh.
You know, there are days that I miss the toys we had growing up, and then there are days I look at I look at little Damien running around with his. I'm like, man, I'm glad I don't have to clean that shit up.
Yeah, it was like there's little pieces of like the slimy, like not a liquid, it's like the Frosty.
Yeah.
Right. Like the Wendy's Frosty of toys, not quite Play-Doh, not quite water. And imagine that in your carpet, which I'm sure was exactly where all of it went instantaneously.
I had a friend who like cut off the arms of the Stretch Armstrong to get to the gooey stuff inside, and it is gross.
It was all mercury.
That kid, also the killer in Poughkeepsie Tapes.
Oh, wow. Okay, mercury makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
No, okay, all right. Okay, so the debate question for this one is all right. So the premise of this film is, this is all kind of like this is a Mitch special right here. We got a true crime, but a fictional true crime story about a serial murderer in Poughkeepsie, New York, and you're going through it. You got the guy who watched the videos, the FBI profiler, the guy who's using it to teach the FBI profiler class, the people who had their daughter abducted. You're getting the whole kind of documentary feel.
It's the mockumentary or documentary.
And so my question is, it's real depressing. So it's real depressing.
The question's depressing, or just the
everything about this is makes me less happy. So my question was,
I'm predicting an 8 out of 10 score for Nate.
Exactly. I'm saying, all right, well, let's turn this, kind of format to some of the the horror films and kind of a lot of the horror film slashers and stuff. They're all serial murderers. What serial murderer from horror films would you like to see, or what could you do with a documentary film made about them?
Okay. Lisa, do you have one on the top of your head?
Okay, so let me just clarify. So we're going to take somebody and
like Michael Myers, or
they're going to shoot
Jason.
it from their perspective, right?
Or no, it'd be about them, because we never see the Poughkeepsie. I guess if someone's doing tapes, I don't know, it could be anything. You could be like,
well, but in this one, you find the tapes and they're from the killer's perspective, right?
Yeah, but it could be anything. It could be like a documentary about Michael Myers, and then you get Loomis on there. Loomis is like, I told him he was the devil. I told him. And then you could interview little Tommy Doyle. It's like, I ran from house to house. That kind of a thing.
So is that yours, Nate?
No, it's not mine. It's not mine.
All right. So I'm going to take a slightly different spin on it. The reason that I want to do this one is because I want to see the tapes from the killer's perspective. Okay. Mm-hmm. I say let's redo Child's Play this way.
Oh, Child's Play.
Yeah.
And then you get it.
So you got to get down to Chucky's level as it's happening.
There's just nothing but ankles and knees. Just
yes.
You just see everyone's kneecaps explode over
Pretty
and
much.
over again. And then yours could be something like, so the company, so in the last one, it's like the tech company that makes the
right
doll. And so
you'd have interviews with the tech company employees, and
or I wonder if it's like they do like their own postmortem but never release it to the public, and then it gets leaked or something. There's a whistleblower.
Right. You'd have an apology. You'd have an apology from the CEO, a la South Park.
Okay.
We're sorry.
Oh, that's
yeah.
Like, and then you got like an insurance adjuster. It's like, well, each knee is worth $30,000.
What did they insured by Lloyd's of London?
There's an accountant that's just like, oh God, we did so many payments. Okay.
There's a cloud. There's a cloud conspiracy guy that's wearing a tinfoil hat, and he's like, "This is why I told you not to go to the cloud."
Not
I like
it could be more of like a corporate thing. It could be like Enron, the smartest guys in the room. It's like you know,
the 5G
Child's Play, the deadest guys in the room.
Oh my god, the 5G towers are how he got his soul into the body. That's
the chemtrails got mixed in with the programming.
Oh,
okay.
All right.
I like that one.
I know it's a good one. You don't have to tell me. I know.
No,
it's solid.
You're right. Nate, what about you? I know you've got one locked and loaded.
So mine. I came up with the question, but then
and then you immediately said, "Oh, and here's my answer," and I called dibs.
Well, I walked myself through. Okay, so this is kind of like a procedural, you know, documentary, true crimey, whatever, right? Well, you know, my favorite villain is obviously the Leprechaun. So I mean, what kind of a documentary could you do about the Leprechaun? You have some weird old Irish guy telling you about Leprechaun lore, right? You have all these like pictograms that come up about the Leprechaun all throughout time, all that kind of nonsense, right? But then I was like, well, that could be a little boring. But what if there was like a whole like season? Do you remember the first season of Heroes?
Yes.
Remember like Zachary Quinto's character was kind of like the main bad dude.
Right.
He's kind of popping in here and there, murdering people. Then I figured, like, why don't, you know, the Leprechaun can't just be constrained by one, you know, hour and a half movie. Let's get him a whole season on something like Law and Order SVU. Then I remembered Ice-T was in Leprechaun into Hood and Law and Order SVU. So one whole season they just dedicate to the Leprechaun, Law and Order, Leprechaun Victims Unit.
Wait, what if his character was an undercover like pimp character? And that's how he ran into the Leprechaun. Like that whole arc where he was, oh my God, why can I never remember his name?
So are you saying, hold on, are you saying like Leprechaun in the Hood and Law and Order SVU, like the Ice-T character is the same person?
Yeah, like he's undercover.
Okay, so after his record,
he goes undercover as Mac Daddy Onassis, because that can't at all be anyone's real name in real life. That
was a cover. He was actually a cop, but then he had to fight for his life against the Leprechaun. And then there's a whole season by him chasing the Leprechaun through all the dead bodies.
You got it.
I love it. Jennifer Love Hewitt is the second in this show. Ice-T.
Why?
Jennifer Love Hewitt, Warwick Davis. NBC's got a hole somewhere in their schedule. This is absolute money.
When are we just gonna bite the bullet and get Jennifer Love Hewitt as a guest on the show? I know Lisa has things she would like to say to her.
How could you do this to me?
That's not fair. My beef is not with her. My beef is with you two yokels.
It's not me. You're pointing not at me. That's for sure.
I feel like you mentioned her more than Mitch now.
to get Mitch in trouble, and it's working.
Yes.
She's been getting him in trouble for a long time.
Leprechaun Victims Unit. That's it. The whole season. The Leprechaun is just, this looks like, this is exactly the right mark as a pogo stick on this guy's chest 1,000 times. It was the Leprechaun. That's right. Is there a Leprechaun copycat killer? Maybe called like the Banshee or something. Who knows? There could be all kinds of stuff. Is it like the Trinity Killer in Dexter? Maybe something like that. Anyway. Leprechaun Victims Unit.
Yeah, I don't know enough Irish folklore to know outside of leprechauns what you'd draw from. But yeah,
where do you think all those snakes went? The leprechaun took them. Boom, start throwing snakes at people.
St. Patrick is like the ultimate villain in it.
Where do you think Leprechaun got his powers? St. Patrick. Yep. All right, what do you got?
Jesus. All right, so look, I love
both of our killers are like less than 3 feet tall.
yeah.
So you got.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go for someone of somewhat normal height. Here, look, I love I've been in a real documentary binge for a while, and of course, you know me. We've talked about this. I do love true crime type stuff. I'm not obsessed with it, but I do like it. I am in that. I am that part of that fandom.
A lot of people who say they're not obsessed with it are usually obsessed with it.
But I'm not over here like with like a pin board over here looking like Charlie Day from It's Always Sunny with like my little like strings running around trying to solve shit like cold cases. I just like a good story. So but I watch documentaries. I love mockumentaries. I love like Best in Show. My favorite's Drop Dead Gorgeous, which
I love that one.
That is one of the best movies ever.
I watched that in Minnesota.
Oh God, so good. Lisa,
like 2 years ago.
I made you watch Drop Dead Gorgeous.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right over there.
Yeah. So look, all of these great like documentary movies have one thing in common, and that is they're really focused on a single event. You know, because that's what it all builds up to, right? It's always the lead up to the main event. So like, you know, the problem with your Chucky one is that where are you leading to? The whole season, you know, it can get kind of boring from a documentary style because it's just a lot of people talking. It all has to sort of like, you've got to all see the steps going and going and going.
Wow, Lisa, yours got thrown in the trash. Jesus, what just happened there?
I said Leprechaun.
I thought you said Chucky.
No, I said yours. After yours in the trash.
Okay. Okay. I'm like, I don't want more strife to be happening here. Oh, thank God. Okay. Woo.
No, but like, yeah. So I thought, okay, what's a good horror movie that has like a great event that would be interesting to hear like people's like all the interviews. And I thought, look, it doesn't have to be like a gory one. What about the witches? What about you're getting interviews from the hotel staff, from other witches
movie The Witches.
Yeah.
That was just remade.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not even it could be the remake or the original, but yeah, like there's interviewing people that are like in the dining room, like I'm just eating my chowder and like there's just fucking rats everywhere. Like what? Just freaking out. I mean, I don't know. I feel like that would be a lot more entertaining and a better like.
Is Ice-T in yours?
He could be. There's no reason why Ice-T couldn't narrate it. Because most of these have like a narrator who like does it. It's either Ice-T or Morgan Freeman. I'm open
or Samuel
for
Jackson. Or Samuel Jackson.
Yeah.
I literally just watched a documentary where Samuel Jackson was the voice. I'm like, oh yeah.
Actually, you know, Snoop Dogg.
That's real solid.
Snoop Dogg has been doing solid work commentating on stuff. I could also have Snoop Dogg narrating as well.
He was a commentator on a UFC game.
Oh yeah.
And that's fantastic.
Well, he commentated on an actual like fight recently, and it's incredible. I think he commentated on like some like National Geographic or some wildlife thing too, and it was it just great. Like, yeah, I'll have to find it. It was fantastic. Anyway, yeah, but you know, I need an event like that. I was trying to think if there's any other like big like events like where it all leads up to like the big, you know, and it'd be interesting to hear like the, you know, the hotel staff talking about all the witches, but not like either they knew they were witches or they didn't, and you know all the like side video of like the cooks and all that. You know,
I've never seen that movie, so I have no clue what you're talking about.
Oh my God! Well,
I assume it's awesome.
I don't know. What do you think, Lisa? Since you're the only one that's seen the witches on this podcast.
Which one?
Which one?
The new one?
They're the same.
The old one? Mitch and I watched them almost back to back. We're like, let's watch the old one and compare it to the new one. Okay. They're both good. Wait.
Okay.
You haven't seen them, Nate?
So
absolutely not. Well, the one just came out like 3 seconds ago, but the original I have not.
Okay, it was not 3 seconds ago, first of all. Second of all, you've seen every garbage movie under the sun, but you haven't seen The Witches.
Didn't look interesting.
Me.
Didn't look interesting.
Okay, I watched that as a kid. How have you not seen it?
I think I was already to harder horror movies by then, to be honest.
Well,
like, can I watch The Witches or The Dentist? I'm gonna go.
He hadn't seen Hocus Pocus until recently.
Oh God!
I didn't see Hocus Pocus till like last year.
Yeah.
You haven't seen everything that I saw. Okay, so this will give you some sense.
It's because they're not actually horror movies.
Hey, back it up there. Mitch and Nate were watching like Friday the 13th when they were
you
kids.
represent the snobs of horror fandom.
I was just saying. I think I skipped past like kind of that level of.
Hey Nate, it has everything you love in horror movies. A child gets murdered in it, so
okay, I'm
that.
interested. I eventually watched it.
This is true.
I think that's your pitch to why. Yeah.
It has ghosts. It has zombies. It has witches. Man, yeah,
Isn't it like a Disney movie?
Yeah. So what?
I mean, maybe that was what threw me off.
Let me.
Disney fan.
I'm pretty sure. Let me paint a quick picture. Let me paint a quick picture of my childhood versus y'all's. One day when Mitch and I were first dating, he said, "Oh yeah, I used to watch Tales from the Crypt," and I said, "Oh yeah, I did too." And he's like, "You watch Tales from the Crypt on HBO?" I said, like, "No, I watch Tales from the Crypt on Saturday morning cartoons."
Nice.
Oh.
Mitch, and I'm like, "Oh, did you watch Jack Frost when you were little?" Like, I love Jack Frost. Michael Keaton, so great. And I'm like, "Oh, wrong Jack Frost." Yep.
See what
I can see that.
See what I deal with. Look. Let us know what mockumentary you would want to see. I think my idea was great. Unfortunately, Nate's never seen The Witches to be able to carry this conversation out.
I've seen The Witch.
And Lisa is already she looks like she's just come back from Nam thinking about having to talk about this film. So she's not even here with us for half this. So, yeah, anyone who has seen Witches and heard my idea, tell me, agree with me how awesome it was. But with that said, let us know what mockumentary you'd want. You can, message us on Twitter, TXPod Massacre, Texas Podcast Massacre on Facebook, everywhere else, or TexasPodcastMassacre@gmail.com. All right, guys, I think we've delayed it as long as we can. Let's get into this week's movie of the week. Nate, you say it because I don't pronounce it right.
The Poughkeepsie Tapes.
We have to wait 24 hours.
No, there is blood! There is blood out there! Send the police now!
Today, police made a shocking discovery in Poughkeepsie.
A third body was found here today.
A Poughkeepsie couple vanished over the weekend, seemingly without a trace.
Do you mind if I film this? I'm making a little movie about my trip.
Poughkeepsie Tapes.
Not a terrible trailer. Not the worst we've seen. Yeah.
Just listening to it just doesn't sound so bad.
Right. Well, Lisa, look, unsuspecting victim.
And you really were on this one.
Yeah. How would you describe this movie to someone?
I don't even know. A series of tapes is found in this mockumentary horror monstrosity thing. And lots of really bad stuff happens.
Yeah, that's fair.
I will say it right off the bat, as if you couldn't tell from our conversation already. This is not unsuspecting victim friendly by any stretch of the imagination.
There is no if you have a friend who or a significant other or whatever who really doesn't like horror movies but maybe puts up with some of them, just watch this on your own.
Yeah,
this is not one you bring other people. This is man, it is tough. Yeah. It's tough for hardened horror fans to really get through, much less people who just like casually.
I'm sure, and Benji again. Thank you for your review, but man, this is and this wasn't the worst. I mean, I've seen worse movies. I think I've softened a bit on like what I can handle, especially kids getting kidnapped right off the jump. I don't like this. I don't like this quite as much.
We have
Before
an early.
I didn't care. Now
early entry into Nate's My Girl Award nomination for 2021.
Well, it's not a current movie, but yeah, if I counted old movies, this would be in there. Well, they don't really show anything with the girl, so that's better.
Can we go back to the 2020 year-end survey and see what team Benji was on? Was it Team Mitch, Team Nate, one Team Lisa?
So before we get into the stats,
that.
Lisa, so we posted, we'll start to post a little earlier, but we posted about asking for questions and just telling people, hey, we're doing Poughkeepsie Tapes today. And so a number of people were like, oh man, what is Lisa gonna say? Like everyone is just like everyone. There was that one person who said, I love that film. They're all just like, oh, Lisa. One person literally put hashtag sorry, Lisa. It's. I think our listeners out there feel for you. This is. Yeah. What is the line from is it Gladiator? It's like, you will not enjoy when she's like stabbing him or whatever. Like you will not enjoy. That's what watching this movie is. Nate, what can you tell us about lovely Poughkeepsie, New York?
Yeah, the Poughkeepsie Tapes was originally planned to be released in 2007. It was part of trailers for other horror movies. It was ready to go, got pulled. Didn't get released until July 19th, 2014. That's right, 7 years later on VOD. And then in 2017, I believe Shout Factory put out the DVD. So 10 years after it's supposed to be released, you could buy it in the physical medium. So this movie had quite a circuitous route to being released. This is 82 minutes, feels like more. Feels like longer than 82 minutes. It's on Amazon Prime, so a lot of people can easily check it out. Tagline for this one is "The terror is real." Accurate. It's a 6 on IMDb. There's no box office. The budget is low budget. Right, this is a low budget movie. I don't know if you saw the green screen. When Cheryl doesn't have her hand anymore.
Yeah.
I know it was so janky, so janky CGI. It was pretty bad. So it's a low budget movie. And the director is John Eric Dowell. John Eric Dowell from previous episode Devil. So he directed Devil. He directed future episode As Above, So Below, which is very good. He directed, so after this movie, he directed Quarantine, which is the U.S. remake of the movie, the Spanish movie Record.
That's one with, I blank on her name, but Deborah Morgan.
From Dexter.
Yeah.
Oh, from Dexter. Yeah. I never saw Quarantine.
I think Lisa, I think you and I saw Quarantine first and before we saw,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you've actually seen Ari's Record. I've seen that, but you've watched the remake.
So this, geez. So is that why this got released? Because he went on to do so many other high profile things that they're like,
I'm wondering how that worked. I mean, and then, and they did the Waco TV series. So that's another lighthearted one. And then you're like, look, this guy's done Quarantine. This guy's done Devil, As Above, So Below, the Poughkeepsie Tapes. What movie are we going to give him? What movie is he working on now? The Friday Night Lights movie. That's what. So this, if you ever wanted to see someone decapitated on a football field, this might be your movie.
Football in Texas can get scary.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a cross between Poughkeepsie Tapes and Varsity Blues. I'm in on that. I don't want your life. And someone's like, fine, you're dead. Thank you. Okay. Actors in this movie, there's nobody. So they're just all lower level actors that I had not ever seen before. The directors from the Minneapolis, St. Paul area, the Twin Cities, and all the news anchors and reporters were actual news anchors and reporters from the news segments as part of this film. They were all from the Twin Cities area. And like I said, they had a real weird, release. And it was shot in roughly 2 weeks. So they really crammed in a lot of gross shots into 2 weeks. That's actually pretty quick. So yeah, low budget movie. I was going to say, I got to give it props. This is an effective film. For what they wanted to do, they accomplished it.
Yeah.
So I will say that, look, they wanted this movie to feel a certain way, and it worked. Congratulations, it worked. So yeah, there's that.
Yeah. I agree with you. I think, it's interesting because I watched this movie, which is trying to be a mockumentary. And this was made, what you said, 2007? It could have been made before that, but yeah, it was around 2007 timeframe. And then I turned off this movie, and then I started watching the new documentary about the Night Stalker on Richard Ramirez on Netflix. So another documentary, but a legitimate true crime documentary, and very it's very similar. I mean, it matches the documentary sort of feel pretty well. So I think their attempt at really kind of hitting the true crime sort of feel with this, I think, is spot on. They really, that is a good thing I will say about this film. Yeah,
Lisa, what'd you think? Was the movie effective in what it was trying to do?
How much, Nate? I don't even know where to start. Over under on how many minutes of this movie I actually watched.
All right, well,
because it was rough.
This is a tight 82, so I'm gonna say
let's put it at 15 minutes. You think I watched more or less than 15 minutes in this movie?
I hope more than 15.
Okay, let me put it this way. Actually looking at the screen, not just having it on in the background.
Oh my God. I hope it's more than 15. I'd say 45 minutes.
God, I don't know. I didn't count. It was rough though.
What scene were you like, okay.
I think it's pretty.
I don't like this.
I'm sure you can guess.
Like what scene was it? What scene was it, Lisa? Like where were you just like,
Nathan, you were with me when I went to see The Witch. You know what scene I almost walked out on. Don't even lie. You just said you could barely stand it yourself, though. The opening kill is taking a kid. Are you kidding me?
Well, okay, but so the kid gets taken and hit off screen, but it's not great. And then hit off screen, and then they say she was raped and murdered. That's bad. But they don't actually show anything. But another kill, they really show stuff. So but that's why I was wondering. I'm like, how soon were you just like, ooh?
They don't actually show the baby getting cut open in The Witch, but it's almost there.
Oh, they show the butter churner.
It's a pestle and mortar. First off, butter.
It's
the butter churner.
Bad.
It's like
butter. The butter churner.
The butter churner.
Maybe it's good you didn't meet the director when we saw him.
I wasn't.
If you had said, "Hey, I really love that scene with the butter churner" to him, I would have had to move. Just walked you away. Like I'm so sorry. He's.
I have the same one.
We don't let him talk to people outside the studio.
Yeah. Is there
Would you sign my butter churner, sir?
If A24 is a great company. I have the bound book of the screenplay for The Witch. Of course, I have that in my home. I mean, I would buy an A24 witch branded butter churner, no problem.
Well, there you go, A24. There's a market. There you go. There's a marketing avenue for you.
Hey, there was a butter churner in Pilgrim that we did back in November.
Oh, there was.
So,
there was a butter churner. In fact.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, here's the problem, right? Yes, it is off screen, but it's off screen, not just the camera, because it's fountain footage. The camera is somewhere away, but I mean,
the thunk sound is real.
This is one of those things where when you say it's effective at what it does. Yes, it is. I mean, when you hear it, when you're seeing all the stuff, it leaves to the imagination. It's very effective in the same way that Texas Chainsaw Massacre is effective in that, you don't see it ever happen, but your mind draws those connections real well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the problem, and I think why this is very easily a turn off the movie sort of moment, is that unlike The Witch, there is a reasoning to it. It's not just shock value. Because a lot of times when kids get killed in these horror movies, if it's not for like a main plot point, it's usually because they're an over-the-top horror film and it's just like, fuck it, we're going to blow up a kid. Like, it's just like, just let everyone know. Anyone can die, right? This was just to try to point out that this dude's like really like cruel and evil. But the whole movie does that. To me, it's totally unnecessary, especially when we'll talk about it later, but the Girl Scout scene is also in the movie. I think he did the same thing with just the Girl Scout scene. I don't know.
Okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So, and again, I think because of them trying to make this as realistic as possible. Like, you're right, this is a film that's trying to make it seem like it's grounded in reality, and I think that's where it's turnable. Versus like The Witch is like, okay, there aren't witches in the woods.
Well, they need the baby's blood to be able to make their brooms fly.
There is a plot.
Unbaptized baby's blood.
There is a plot device as part of that.
There
is.
It's actually never explained, but that's
Lisa, you were about to say something.
No, I don't know when it's a good time to bring it up, an hour later. I don't want to spoil all the kills in this, but the one thing that did confuse me, and we can kind of talk about as we go along, is did it feel realistic to you guys that he kept changing his MO? It wasn't like it was all kids. It wasn't like it was all couples. It wasn't like it was all women. It was, to me, usually, and I've somewhat reluctantly seen enough of these, true crime documentaries. There usually is an MO. It's usually a certain type of person they're going after every time because of something that happened in their lives. This seemed, I don't know. This just seemed like that was unrealistic.
Yeah, I was like, what is this guy, like Hannibal? Like, what? He's like, I'm just so smart. I'll change it up. And then you hear him yelling. These people are like, oh, that guy's not Hannibal. This guy is not Hannibal.
So
I don't know. This guy's they said that the guy, it was disorganized and organized and did everything to throw them off on the pattern. And then at one point, the FBI profiler said might be an FBI profiler. I'm like, holy shit, they got nothing on this dude.
I don't know. Maybe it was, sometimes it felt like they just took a little bit from everything. They're like, oh, we'll take that and we'll take that and we'll just throw it all together,
It's the smartest serial killer ever, or something, or something.
Right?
Yeah, that's what they're trying to say. Like, this is.
So I guess the best way that I think to answer that is, not really. I mean, because I think every serial killer tends to have kind of a signature. Because I mean, they're most oftentimes acting under some sort of compulsion, right?
Well, this guy has a compulsion. It's recording it.
Yeah. So I mean, it's
that is something. That's the main thread, is that I'm recording everything.
Yeah, it is meant to make him like this a more super villain type of thing, right? I think it kind of leads more to does he have law enforcement knowledge? Does he understand these profiles and knows how to sort of mask them and know what people are like law enforcement's looking for?
Every person that was interviewed in this movie who was a man looked like a serial killer to me. I'm like, it could be anybody. Oh, the guy who watched all the videos, it's him. And then I saw the next guy, like, oh wait, no, sorry, I retract that. It's this guy now. This guy.
Nate, are you
straight up serial killer?
Are you an FBI profiler? Because
no, I'm not. But the one guy's like talking about like dismembering.
Oh,
how he dismembered. Like, oh yeah, that guy's the killer. Okay, great. Yeah, so solved it. Yeah,
maybe that's how we need to talk about this movie, because this movie is 2 movies in one, right? So you have the found footage, which we'll get into, and then you have the documentary, part. So let's talk about the documentary part. Because when I was looking at some different reviews and seeing some stuff on Reddit, doing a little bit of research for this, it was interesting that this seems to be where a lot of people can be split on the movie, because the documentary piece is not great. That is not the effective part of this movie. Some of these folks clearly, that's just like, hey, can you say these lines? Like the dismemberment expert is very clearly reading from like a cue card, or his like from the script off page. You know, did y'all feel the same way or?
Yeah.
I thought,
yeah.
The documentary part, I think, facilitated the rest of it. It wasn't. It's like the rapper, right? We always talk about the rapper.
No, I'm not saying the idea of it was bad. I'm just saying that, I mean, the actors were not good.
The news anchors were real. They were actually probably the best.
Yeah,
I think the news anchors were good. But they were most of the talking that was happening. I mean, like the FBI profiler teacher was like, "Yeah, I get why you're retired." Like I get it. All right, you're just teaching this class for some money. I mean, you're not really whatever.
Yeah, this is a weird introductory video series to like be showing students.
Yeah, it's like, hey, so you guys are studying to become, you're criminologists, and I'm just gonna show you the worst thing in the history of the world and see what happens. All right, thanks, teach. Yeah, that was something.
So okay, so what did you think about the documentary overall? That part of it.
I mean, it set up the rest of it, I think, adequately. I mean, when you see the guy who was like the guy who watched the FBI, like the low guy on the totem pole, the analyst at the FBI who had to watch every minute of every tape from this guy.
Oh yeah, that dude's
jumping. Which there are so many fucking tapes, many tapes.
That dude's jumping off a building at the end of this.
Yeah, and then he's like, my wife, I took some home to keep watching it. Never take your work home.
Never take your work home.
And never take your work home when it's a serial murderer like raping everybody. And then he said his wife wouldn't touch him for forever, or like a year or some whatever amount of time. I mean, that was effective. I felt that. I was like, oh, Jesus. Yeah, the teacher guy was bad. The FBI profiler was okay. The interviews with the family and impacted people, I think, were fairly effective. That's because you don't really need any acting for that. It's just like, yeah, I used to know Cheryl when we were in college. It was cool. And now she's like an insane person.
Yeah.
I'm like, yep, okay, got it. It was okay. What did you think? You seemed like you didn't like it as much.
I mean, I just thought that was probably the least effective part of it. Again, the acting kind of it's all about the videos. It is all about the videos.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Sure. I thought it was clever in some. I don't know. It was one of those things where like I didn't know. I feel like they were trying to make some sort of. There was some commentary about the true crime type of shows back in, at that time period, right? I mean, because if you go back and you look at like, True TV or any of those where they have like the big like crime TV show marathon, like a Cold Case and all that. I mean, they're all basically like cut and filmed the same way. Very few like of the true crime shows are like really well done in terms of, actually being like respectful of the victims and more than just like glorifying the killer. This matched that. And I thought they were doing something interesting there, but they never really got to it. And then I feel like because they were also interspersing it with the found footage piece, it just kind of had these weird kind of like jarring kind of breaks, right? It was like, it was a short video, then we're going to talk about it. And here's a little bit, then we're going to talk about it. It didn't really do as good of a job stitching together the videos, almost.
Yeah.
Like, I almost wonder if it would have made more sense to do like the training, like just stay with that classroom, and he's just walking through the videos, and that's why he's showing the select ones, and you just had that, but
yeah, man,
it's hard to say,
tough.
and it makes me curious. So yeah, sorry, you were saying, Nate, I apologize.
Well, no, I was just gonna ask Lisa, what's your least favorite? So the videos is where it's at, right? The videos is really the meat of this. Any of them in particular that you really hated? And there's a bunch. The movie's mostly these videos. So
I have to pick one. No,
I don't know which one were you just like, oh fuck this, I hate this.
I don't know.
I was gonna say sewing the husband or boyfriend's face into the woman's stomach.
Yeah, actually, yeah, that whole thing with the C-section and for someone who just had a baby, I was like,
look at Mitch's face. Man, all of our faces are just like, ew, the whole time. Yeah,
not great.
Yeah, I would have loved to see a camera of like all of our reactions while watching this movie, because there's probably a lot of like, oh, if I made that sound a lot, oh, not great. That one was bad. Everything with Cheryl, poor Cheryl. Oh man,
yeah,
the character of Cheryl got abducted, raped, tortured it was essentially like Reek from Game of Thrones, but way worse. And you see more of the conditioning. At one point when the Girl Scouts come, and he does not kill them, actually, which is surprising.
Not for lack of wanting to.
True. Because someone got loose in the basement, and
the basement.
I'm gonna set you up for that one. But hold on, let me get into my one thing.
Sure,
I'm just saying,
one
of the most disturbing things for me is that so these Girl Scouts come in, and he's like, "Oh, just come in." He acts like he's a police officer, which I think some people think he might be, because he is really good at evading them and evading capture. The Girl Scouts sit there, and he's recording him because he's a creep city. Just like Spree, if someone's recording you creepily, just get out, figure something else out. Don't worry about it. He's like, oh, he's sitting on the couch, and there's a table right in front of him. And then the Girl Scouts are there, and then they leave because you hear some sound in the basement. He's abducted someone else. She's getting loose, blah, blah, blah. And then pulls the cover out, and the table was Cheryl. Holy shit. That kind of fucked me up. I was like, this is so bad for her. She's a table. She's just sitting there mute as a table. Oh man, that for some reason, like the straight up murders almost didn't impact me as much as that. I was like, this is some deep psychological shit. I feel really bad for this fictitious person. Like, damn, that's rough. Sorry, go ahead on your rant on basements. This basement is not a good place.
Hey, I spent the last week fighting off people on attics and basements, and nothing we have seen in a basement is as bad as, or an attic is as bad as the shit we have seen in this guy's basement.
This guy's basement it's the thing about this basement, and the thing about this guy in particular is just there's just the volume of people getting murdered is just huge.
Well, that's just
so many murders.
And that's basements in general. The volume of murders in basements is astronomical.
I don't know about that.
Absolutely. It's very much that way. I mean, look,
he's not exclusive basement killing. He's killing people all over.
He's trying to lure the Girl Scouts into the basement. He's over here like, oh, there's some raccoons in the basement. Well, first off, why are raccoons getting in your basement? Second, no, run, girls.
Well, it's a kidnapped prostitute, I believe, at the time. Oh boy, man, it's not great. And then he has Cheryl kill the prostitute. That was bad.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, it was very similar to Reek in Game of Thrones, but I felt so much worse for this lady.
Yeah, I take no pleasure in telling you this, Nate, but I think this movie, so the killer is named Edward Carver in the credits, if you caught that.
I did catch that. I think he said Ed in one of the tapes Maybe. Or something. It's Ed.
So I think I am like 90% sure his character is inspired off of real serial killer, Gary Heinick, who did keep people in his basement they were prostitutes. He did end up having one that basically was like helping him, and he was like killing them, dismembering them, doing all this like weird shit in the like he electrocuted one of them. And
yeah, I don't care for any of this.
Yeah, not great. And also in the North Philadelphia area. So which is somewhat near where, it's kind of in around this area. So I mean, at least it would have been known. So yeah, unfortunately, that's part of why I think the found footage stuff was bothering me more because it's like, oh yeah, I think I know where this is coming from. like it's so much worse when you're like, oh no, is that?
Yeah, that's why I don't like the true crime stuff, because I'm just like, those are real people getting straight up murdered. I don't like that. I don't like that they're like interviewing all the people.
Well, and so
some of them are very exploitative. Also, not a fan of that.
Sure. So Hynek was also one of the inspirations behind Buffalo Bill from Sounds of the Lambs. So it's the same sort of thing. So that's that was when that part was like, oh, I don't like this. Now let's talk about the string of, okay, so first he's stalking like random people throughout the town. Now he does switch it up to targeting prostitutes. So Lisa, do you want to, I mean, you kind of mentioned this, him changing his MO. I mean, what were your thoughts about just this sort of plot here?
I don't know.
Did it kind of lose you here, or did you were you like, oh shit,
yeah.
or
this is where it lost me.
But like
okay, well, everyone got dismembered. They sewed a guy's head into another lady, but he's changing his tactics. How dare you?
But that's what I'm saying. I feel like they almost couldn't pick a lane. So they just went for everything. They're like, all right, a little bit of John Wayne Gacy, a little bit of Jack the Ripper, a little bit of, this, that, and the other. Pick, if you really want an inspiration from one person, then pick one person and stick with it. You don't need to jump around to every notorious serial killer in history.
Yeah, I mean, I just think they were trying to give him this whole like, oh, he's so smart that he was able to throw them all off by going out, by making them kill this guy. But like,
he framed a cop who then was like, given a lethal injection, and then like 2 days after, like provided evidence that made that that exonerated the guy.
Yeah,
that was brutal. And they showed that guy's son. Yeah, it was a little too lifelike for me. And that it was like, dang, that is.
I don't know that anyone's much of like a
Nancy Grace. I could see Nancy Grace being involved in like the real life version of this.
But that's so like next level supervillain bullshit. Like that's the shit you see from like Seven. Like I don't think real, murderers are like that. You know what I mean?
I wonder if that guy was getting kind of close to him. I wonder if he was law enforcement. And he knew that guy was getting closer to him, and so then he could use his law enforcement abilities to frame him. That actually would make sense if you believe this person was a police officer.
So he had to have been, right? I mean, because why else did people keep mistaking that he's a police officer, and he has a cruiser of some sort? So he's clearly
never just get in this random person's car, even if they are a cop. Yep. Never get in the car. Never get in the back of a cop car on your own will.
Which does make you, I mean, I don't think he is, clearly, because I think they would have given it away in the credits. But maybe he's one of the people getting interviewed. I don't know.
That's what I thought. I was like, at the end of this movie is going to be, we're going to figure out one of the people getting interviewed was the serial killer.
No.
That's what I assumed. But it did not happen. Poughkeepsie Tapes 2. Lisa is just frothing at the mouth for more Poughkeepsie Tapes.
See, but here's a problem. You were saying about that director. Now he's done so many big movies.
But you're actually
probably could get someone to greenlight it.
But it's such
I'm mildly worried.
It's such a high level franchise now. They're going to dip back into it. I don't know who knows. But yeah, I mean, I think it was a cop personally. I think that would make a lot of sense. for the framing part. That makes the framing a lot easier. If you're not a cop, I'm not sure how that even occurred.
Yeah.
I wrote, I mean, can we just get into Cheryl?
Yeah.
They were saying like, oh, here's like 10 jillion tapes, and like half the 10 jillion are Cheryl. I felt real bad for Cheryl. But that was Cheryl Dempsey, right? I felt real bad for her.
Yeah.
Lisa, any thoughts on Cheryl other than that fucking sucks?
So
it was bad.
The one thing we haven't mentioned with Cheryl, or you guys mentioned it and I didn't hear you, the part where he actually goes up to her mom.
Yeah, the mom recognizes him.
What the hell was that about?
They get a sketch. They got a sketch of him roughly, but I mean, not enough to.
But
yeah,
I don't know. I feel like if I were this mom, I would. I don't know.
Yeah, you can't
hunt him down. She just kind of freezes, and I'm like, oof.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know what I do in real life, but but the mom in me feels like I would run until I couldn't anymore trying to get this guy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the cops and the FBI can't get this guy. I don't know what one mom's gonna do. I mean, to be fair.
Yeah, but this guy literally went up to her face.
She gave him a sketch. They had the sketch of the guy. I mean, that's all you can do. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, the way that Cheryl gets got, I mean, her boyfriend gets killed. The guy stays in the closet for hours. First of all, great battery on this camcorder. Apparently.
Yeah. Did he bring an adapter? Like, is it just plugged in?
Yeah. Was there a wall adapter that got in there? Gets punched in the back of the head a bunch. Boyfriend gets murdered. She's bound in really weird positions, which sucked. She's constantly raped and has bones broken over and over again. The mom, the killer goes up to the mom, torments her, has Cheryl kill a prostitute. Like I said, used her as a table, and then locked her in a coffin. And then she gets out and she's like, oh, that guy loved me. She tortured herself after she got out in the hospital. Her hand was cut off, and then she kills herself. I mean, that is just some dark shit.
Yeah.
That just saying it all together at once just was like, that sucks real hard. That sucks real hard.
So a lot of the murder scenes in this are, to me, a little hokey. Like him wearing the mask, I thought, and walking around, it looked real dumb. I don't know.
It's a mask for,
Okay.
It had its plague doctor mask. I'm sure there was some reasoning in the psychotic person's mind.
Look, I thought a lot of the lost footage stuff looked real dumb. I hated the stupid warping effect they were trying to do to age it. When we talked with I'm blanking on his name, but for a Gruesome Threesome, he was kind of talking about
Terry Wickham.
Yeah, Terry Wickham. How he was talking about how he used the actual cameras and to get the effect instead of trying to CGI. And that's how I felt like with this. It was very digital, and it was just annoying more than anything. Where it kept flipping out and being weird.
Colored or not colored.
We get it. Yeah. It's an old VHS tape, But
yeah,
most of it I thought was real dumb, but in some of that regard. But the two scenes that stuck out of my head were the one where the camera's right on that girl's face, and she has the tape, and he's just stabs her in the neck.
She chokes on her own blood.
Yeah, that one not fun.
That was a Hostel-esque right there.
Which I think that's one way Gary Heinick killed someone. That one you think was lifted straight from. Sorry, Nate.
How do you know this?
I've researched it. I looked it up again before the
again.
episode.
The key word in that is again. Lisa, can we do? Or is there an intervention we doing this?
But anyway, but
googling serial murder.
But the most creepy part of this, I think, is that interview with Cheryl at the end where she's just like, "I'm sorry, I don't know what you want me to say." She's it's just heartbreaking. It
I
sucks.
hated it.
It
I
sucks.
hated it. It again effective, but I hated it so
Now,
much.
the last thing I kind of want to talk about with y'all. So we're bouncing back a little bit to the his changing the MO. I don't know how I feel about the use of 9/11 as a plot point of why no one, like why the guy's exoneration from being falsely accused was buried. That was a bold move.
Well, it's like it would drown out everything. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm shocked at the brass balls it took to just use 9/11 as a plot point in this movie.
I don't know if it's ball. It was and it was in the New York area too. So it's in New York State, not that far from New York City. So I mean, yeah, I
didn't know how to. I didn't know how to feel about it. I was, my first boom was like, oh, Jesus. But again, everything on this movie has made me uncomfortable. So why shouldn't this?
But yeah, there you go. I was gonna say I'm gonna make this more exciting than just going through this movie because it's just not fun. So they don't catch the guy. Spoiler alert: they don't catch the guy. They're like, "Hey, he probably moved. He moved." Although, and I watched part of this with my wife, and she was just like, "I don't like this." She got about 30-40 minutes in. She's like, "I'm gonna go do something else. I don't care for this."
Yeah, that seems to be about the mark when everyone's like, I really don't want to do this anymore.
I was like, she's like,
though she had a choice to walk away.
Yeah, she did have a choice.
Must be nice.
I know. That's she's 8 months pregnant, so she gets to throw it it's like a Subway punch card. Every so often you kind of get
don't act like when I was 8 months pregnant I didn't have to watch stuff.
But think about that. Think about that.
Tapes.
At 8 months pregnant, it's a pain in the ass to even get up, period. So think how bad it had to be at 30 minutes for her to be fuck it, I'm up. I don't put the effort in.
Don't worry about it. Yeah. So in this, she was like, all right, well, he has multiple cars, but it's like cars might have license plates or something, right? The guy's not so careful. He's not going to get on any video cameras ever, right? They got the sketch of the guy. They got the build of the guy. They know all the law enforcement. If he was law enforcement that left the area, because he's not in the area anymore. Or he moved houses. Maybe he moved houses in the same area. But he was in a house for a long period of time and bought a lot of VHS tapes in bulk, I bet. She's like, there's some way you could track one of those pieces would lead to somebody. Like, who owned this house? Like, how is this guy in this house for so long? Many tapes. He was there for a long time, living there, doing something. There had to be a way to track back to this person.
I would go look up every house that has a basement, and I'd start with that list.
Everywhere in New York has basements because up north has basements.
So then everyone's a suspect. I'm all right with that. So, God, I don't know. So Nate, did you? So yeah. So the movie sort of ends with them saying maybe he's left. He's ready for the big city lights, I guess. Did you watch through the credits, Nate?
No.
So you missed the Marvel post-credit scene at the end where Ant-Man and Black Panther show back up, and
I'm not a huge Marvel fan, but I would take that over this any day.
So the very last scene of this film, that's after the credits, is another. So they're all saying, "Oh, maybe he's gone. We haven't heard about blah blah blah." So the implication is that he's very much alive because there's another videotape, and it's basically this person saying, he says, "I'll make you a deal. I won't kill you if you don't blink." And so it's just her like freaking out, breathing, but not blinking for at least 10 to 12 seconds before it cuts to black.
Okay.
That's the scene.
Maybe the video camera blinked first.
I mean, I think it's one last little like tension. Gotcha.
We all knew the killer was alive and still killing.
So I think there's two questions to ask. One, having seen this now, why do you think it wasn't widely distributed? Like in theaters, or why they kept pulling it back? And then two, what do you think's on the missing tapes? If there's some tapes he didn't let them all have, what do you think?
I thought the missing tapes, he killed someone that he knew.
Yeah.
And then he didn't want to get tied back to it.
Okay.
There's a lot of bodies that didn't get found, for sure. He's killing people, doing sign language to tell him where one of the bodies is. Like, what is going?
Yeah.
This guy is kind of masterminding. Didn't care for that.
Yeah.
I don't know, Lisa. What do you think's on those tapes? I don't know. What do you think?
More stuff I don't want to see.
Exactly.
No.
Yeah. Like he's like, yeah, I'm really into watercolors, and he's just kind of like Bob Rossing it, like on that. Maybe that's it.
Well, why do you think they never really like widely release this? Because truthfully, most of the kills I didn't find were much worse than Saw or Hostel, which certainly got theatrical releases. Do you think it's just because they did
come out?
Roughly the same time.
Roughly the same time. So I mean, the early 2000s were marked with horror movies that were really trying to be as extreme and real as possible. So
yeah, Hostel is like 2005. Yeah, so I mean, right.
And
right
found
around.
footage films were all the rage, you know. So I my only guess, it's one of two things, right? Either the found footage thing just felt too real, which I don't think that's a compelling enough reason, because I think they would have gone with the buzz. I think it was the child violence stuff that was probably that's the deal breaker.
I mean, didn't they do like a Last House on the Left and I Spit on Your Grave remake too?
Yeah. But those didn't involve kids. You know?
Yeah, but if you can release Last House on the Left with like a very extended rape scene, you can release this movie.
I agree. I don't know that there's anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hills Have Eyes got remade. Green Inferno came out in theaters.
Yeah. I know. Right. But none of them involved kids. I think that's the only only thing that must have been different about this.
Yeah, maybe
some over Cheryl's stuff, but even then, I don't even know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question. I mean, I'm glad the person, went on that. John Eric Dowdle went on to do some different stuff that I enjoyed much more. So that's good.
Yeah.
And Friday Night Lights is coming out. Are you guys Friday Night Lights fans?
My mom is, so she'll be excited. Okay. I'll have to tell her.
You can bring the movie over one time. Like, oh, this guy. You want to see another movie from this guy? Yeah, totally.
I don't think I'm watching this with my mom.
Poughkeepsie
Nate. Okay, so the real question is this a Blu-ray collection movie, Nate? Does this?
Absolutely not. I'm never doing this Blu-ray. Sorry, Shout Factory. I'm not going with the Blu-ray on this one.
Yeah.
I was trying to think at the end of this, I was trying to think like, all right, well, what's like my double feature for this movie? I'd probably say Creep. I don't think you've seen Creep though. Creep is a videotape serial killer.
No,
guy.
I haven't seen it, but I know enough about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Mark Duplass who's real good.
Yeah.
And I was trying to think like this serial killer is still out there, but like what horror movie serial killer that you see is this guy? I was like, did this guy go on to lead The Strangers? Was this the guy from Hush? I'm trying to think like, who is this guy? Like where would he fit into movies that we did see the serial murderer? You don't think he could be a Strangers guy?
No.
Get like two Cheryls with him to help him out? No? Okay.
No, Hush? They're not filming anything, man. They got to film it.
What about Hush?
No, he's not just targeting deaf women.
He's mixing up his MO. We've never killed a deaf
How about we just
before.
How about we just keep this guy out of other movies? Let's just do that.
All right, fine.
All right.
I was like, girl with a dragon tattoo.
Oh my god,
almost seems similar-ish.
All right, well, look, I think we've talked as much as we can about this one.
We need to turn the tape over on this one.
Yeah, let's get into the final cut.
Final cut.
All right, our final cut. Nate, I'm going to kick it over to you first this time.
This one is so hard because I didn't care for watching it at all. So Norm, if I say that, the rating can't be too high. But again, like I said, the movie was very effective in what it was actually trying to do. And it was low budget. And I mean, look, I'm not going to forget this movie anytime soon. So it was, again, somewhat effective. So I'm going to give it a 3 and say, hey, if you like this kind
That's
of
high
movies,
praise.
if you like this kind of movie, it works. It tries to get you to a place. It gets you there. No problem. And you stay there the entire time you're watching it. It's not a good place to be in. There's no Ted Danson. There's no Kristen Bell or whatever. This is a bad place. It's not a good place to be. But it's very effective at making you feel a certain way and telling the story in the way they wrote it. And I mean, I'll give them kudos for that. But yeah, I did not care for this movie. Not a Blu-ray collection, not a ever watch again collection. And I watch movies again all the time. This is not one of those. Yeah, you can keep me out of this going forward.
Nice. Lisa, how about you?
No, Mitch, you first.
Oh,
how low can you go?
Lisa's gonna get the highest rating of anyone. Mitch just didn't like the acting. He's like, oh, everything else is fine. Everything's great. I felt great the whole time. I was humming, I was singing. It was awesome, dancing around while watching it. But like, some of the acting wasn't good. That's what it sounds like to me.
It took you out of it.
Look, the basement had murder, so I got to rant on that. I mean, everything.
Well, I mean, that's the most realistic thing in this movie is that everything happened in the basement. That makes it. Had this happened in the attic, I would have been like, that. None of this is realistic. This is all ridiculous. I mean, honestly, you said it kind of yourself. It is very effective in what it's trying to do. I do think that it misses some opportunities. I think that, again, it's a lower budget film. I think they had sort of idea. They never really fully kind of get there. And they don't stick the landing on what they're trying to do with it. But I thought there's some interesting points. Yeah, some of the acting in the documentary part was a little, they could have done either less of that or maybe, like, I don't think we need a dismemberment expert because I don't think that exists.
That guy's the killer. That guy's the
like. There's
I gotta put money on it. It's that guy.
Yeah, just an image. Yeah, how do you become the dismemberment expert? That's like, I don't think there's a blood splatter analyst. I think there's just like in Dexter. I think there's just like the ME. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah,
but
yeah, I don't know.
But I don't know. I'm in this weird place where like, is this a movie that I care for? Not really. All right. Like, I don't really care about torture porn. I don't like Hostel. I don't like Green Inferno. I don't like movies where it's just like, we're just going to murder and kill everyone.
Midnight Meat Train.
But is
Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer? This movie kind of reminded me of that a little bit.
But is this movie, do I grade it on just if it hits my sensibilities or just how well it does? I think from an effective movie perspective, I see why people like it. It is very much a split in the horror community where you either love it or you hate it. I'm going to take the brave stance of saying it's all right. 5 out of 10. Wow. It does some things pretty well. This is, and here's why. I know I'm going to give it the highest rating of us 3, but it's because it is the true crime documentary.
Yeah, I don't like true crime either.
See, I like true crime. So
yeah,
I get it. I mean, would I rather watch it made me want to watch a different different true crime show. So
I think you need to pull back on that. I think Lisa and I could both say you need to pull back on the true crime, just a smidge.
Anyway, so 5 out of 10. Play Dr. Mass.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say like, no, go ahead. Sorry, Lisa, go ahead.
Sorry, Nate. I was gonna say y'all can't see me on video, but I'm literally holding up a book Mitch got for Christmas about the Zodiac Killer.
And I was gonna say, you
Actually,
watch this movie, you
hey.
watch Poughkeepsie Tapes, and you go, "Oh yeah, I saw something similar to that recently." You should never say that sentence. Should never happen
Funnily
in that
enough,
context.
the best about that is my mom got me that for Christmas, and
your mom got you a Zodiac. Oh my god!
And she had to mail it to me, and so I only copy of the Zodiac Kill of the World with a Post-it that says "I love you" from Mom on the.
Love you.
Which is funny too, because I think my mom's gonna read it too. Yeah, we'll get to have a little.
You are getting hurt. Well, why are you infecting all these people? Oh my god.
Yeah. I don't know.
All right, Lisa.
People like true crime.
Lisa, thank you.
Sorry, horror snob community over by Nate.
Wow. All right, Lisa, what do you giving this?
Nate's the rich asshole boyfriend in every horror movie that gets like murdered like right to the end. Now the audience like stands up and cheers. Like, yeah,
no, that's not me. That's not me. I'm like the Jamie Kennedy only in the first movie.
I'm the fat stoner.
Not the second one where he gets murdered.
I'm the fat stoner friend that dies sometime between the first and second act of the film, and everyone forgets was in the movie. All right, Lisa.
Mitch is definitely the rules guy from Scream. Yeah.
Jamie Kennedy.
Yeah. There's certain rules. That's.
But I'm Jamie Kennedy from Scream 1, and Mitch is Jamie Kennedy from Scream 2.
I don't know that I like that.
where he gets abducted into a van on a college campus.
Yeah. Why?
I just get shot, but I'm okay. No, Lisa, what are you giving this one?
I don't even know.
Is it a 1? Can you go above 1 on this?
No, I can't.
You can't go above 1.
Can I go below 1?
Do you want me to tell you other 1s you've given? Devil's Rejects.
Yep, sounds right.
Is that? I think you gave The Suckling a 0. I don't think that's allowed, but that's fine.
We collectively made an exception for Suckling.
I know mine's. I wrote it down. Mine's 0.666. So Lisa gave Thanks Killing a 1.
Okay.
And Tourist Trap a 1. That's looking pretty great now. Looking pretty great.
Tourist Trap needs to. Yeah. Tourist Trap can bump up to a 2.
Oh, all right. 100% increase. Love it.
Yeah.
So is this a solid 1, or can you get up to 2 on this?
You want to talk about infecting other people's lives? We did Secret Santa this year because obviously we can't see anybody in person right now. And Mitch, no lie, sent a Tourist Trap mask to our friends.
Yeah, for a long time.
They thought it was a sex mask.
It didn't come with the wig, but it was straight up the
they opened it. Is this the sex mask? In which the answer is, to some Tourist Trap fans, an absolute yes. So there's that.
It was very high quality though. Very well done mask.
Great looking mask. That mask looked awesome. I wish I would have gotten it, but maybe next year.
Oh my god.
Maybe it's gonna get regifted. Anyway, Lisa, so you're at a 1.
Yeah.
1.
I don't think I need to say why.
One what? Sorry, we didn't do the
1. I'm never watching this again.
Okay, 1 time I'll ever watch this movie.
1, maybe he should have recorded all this on beta instead of VHS.
So it's like, we don't have the adapter. Sorry, we can't. We can't watch this.
Fucking yeah. What do you do? You're the FBI. You show up. Everything's in fucking beta. You're like, I guess he got away. I don't even know what to do with this.
It's like, look. We got 17,000 pounds of laser discs over here. We're not going through that. We're not going through all these laser discs. I'm sorry, it's not happening.
Someone really bought into the HD DVD platform before
they got
Blu-ray
the
came around,
Xbox 360, and they got the separate CD, like the separate drive, and then they're really the HD DVD. Yeah,
oh man! All right, well look, we did it. We talked longer than the movie actually was. So
Benji, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah, no, we're gonna do some Crown Apple shots to erase this movie from our memory. But we'll be thinking of you when we do that. Look, we're around, we're online. if you really are feeling like you need a fight, come to Twitter and catch these hands. If you want to tell me that the basement hashtag Team Attic, I will defend the Attic's honor. Like I've been doing all weekend. So
spoiler alert, the Attic has no honor, nothing to defend. You're flailing.
Hey, guess what the Attic doesn't have? Cheryl and a dude in a plague doctor mask hanging around.
When she killed herself, she hung herself from an attic rafter. Come on.
Yeah, that's the only way she saw salvation was to ascend.
No, if I kill myself higher up, maybe he'll see me and come back.
Nate, where can they find us?
You can find us and our distinct lack of Poughkeepsie Tapes content after this episode at TXPod Massacre on Twitter, Texas Podcast Massacre at gmail.com. Keep those emails coming. We're going to do a mailbag episode probably the first quarter of this year. So get your emails in now if you want those to be read during that episode. You can check us out on Instagram, on Facebook. Download our podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. 5-star review. It might take a little bit. Sorry on that, Benji, but we got to the Poughkeepsie Tapes. Give us 5-star review. Your movie will go on the list. Yep. Still haven't seen Human Centipede. So
yeah, I see a lot of talk. I don't see any action.
I know. People are like, "Oh, Human Centipede, totally," but then they never do it.
Here's the thing: when people have requested it, they just haven't left the review or shared out.
Leave the review.
You've got to like share out our page. You can't just send us a message. That's come on. You can do better. Yeah, you got to leave a review. Share out.
You need to connect on different social networks, not unlike people are connected in Human Centipede.
That's right. So for those that have requested it in the normal manner, it is on our list. It's just it's not prioritized. Or the review helps you bump it up. In fact, next week's episode is another fan request. So we're gonna get to that.
Yeah, we're double dipping on that one.
Yep. A little double dip. All right. Well, look. Thank you from all of us here at Texas Podcast Massacre. Thank you so much for tuning in, and just keep telling yourself it's only a movie. Good night.